Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, your daily fix of football chat here on STV. The main talking points tonight: Rangers chairman Dave King says the repayment of a £5 million loan to Mike Ashley Sports Direct was the right thing to do. We'll also discuss some of the other finer points from this morning's AGM. Ronnie Dyler says Celtic will be in the Champions League next season. That's despite suffering yet another disappointing defeat, this time to Ajax in the Europa League. And the Hearts captain Blažiej Augustin says the Tynecastle club can catch Celtic and win the title. Just a few of the points we'll be discussing tonight. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin, and the former Celtic striker Frank McAvennie gives us his assessment of his old team's performance. So, cut to the chase. The AGM, Dave King and a number of investors, including a new one, John Bennett, have agreed to stump up the $5 million. It's a change of heart, and Dave King says it's the right thing to do, Ruffy.
Yep, I was surprised a couple of months ago when Dave King said he was going to fight the $5 million in court, the right to give him it back. I thought, if they really want to move on, then getting rid of Mike Ashley is the first thing you've got to do, and I think giving the $5 million will obviously ease in that burden. Yep, and
Dave King goes on to say that Sports Direct seems to be working to an agenda which clearly is not assisting our club's rehabilitation. I don't think there's any mileage whatsoever for Rangers just to continue that fight with Mike Ashley when you consider the strength of him, Frank.
No, I don't think so. I was delighted when he didn't take over the club, Mike Ashley, because he's got the money that could inject into Rangers that could really frighten Celtic, because the guy's a billionaire and he doesn't, he wanted to take over the club, he wanted the rights to the jerseys and all that kind of stuff. For a Rangers supporter, who cares who gets the money if you buy a jersey, as long as the team's on the park. Dave King hasn't got the money that Mike Ashley's got, so get him out of the way, the quicker the better, because he can go all the way in court. That it just drains money out of Rangers again, and it can be spent elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it'll be that easy. I think the one thing that's strangling the whole thing, Ruffy, is the commercial deal, which doesn't suit Rangers, which again the board couldn't discuss because of the injunction.
Yeah, and as it seems to be when you read the media, it seems to be the one burden that they would really like to get off of him, and you can see why with the way it's structured. And I think maybe they think by giving him the $5 million they can maybe negotiate a wee bit more and go a friendly route rather than the aggressive route that didn't seem to be going anywhere.
Is there not a chance that they could get him on board again and use some of his money?
Well, there's a $64,000 question. In fact, I'm sure it's considerably more as far as the money's concerned. But there's money there. Obviously, if Mark Warburton wants to spend in the January transfer window, it's of paramount importance for Rangers to win the title, but they've got a battle in their hands.
They've got a great battle with Hibs. Are doing very well. They've got a good bunch of lads there that are all fighting for each other, and they've hung in. They've stuck by Rangers. So I just think that they're going to have to buy somebody, whether they get people on loan again and get them through just to get them up. Because at the end of the season, we all know they're going to have to spend a lot on players if they've got any chance of competing, and not against Celtic, but competing in the league, in the Premier League. Because there's a lot of teams. Most of the teams are better than Rangers at the moment. A few injection of cash, get a few players in, then they can compete. And it'll take a few years of competing before they can challenge Celtic, that's for sure.
Yeah, OK, as far as Celtic are concerned, Ruffy, it was another night of disappointment. In the start of the match, 3 minutes gone, all looked good. Callum McGregor scores a goal and Celtic Park is alight, but the same old problems came back to haunt them.
Yeah, it did, and it was the same old problems. A game that was there to be won, and they just didn't have that wee bit of class there to win it. And again, OK, you could make excuses pushing forward, trying to get the winner, losing the goal, but on whole it's not just about game on game, it's about the whole group. And when you look at the table and you see the points that Celtic have got, it's just an absolute failure.
Yep, and let's look at that group table now, because Celtic are at the bottom of it, but that's just half the story, Frank. They haven't won a Europa League match in 10
games. You saw the difference last night. Obviously the shout went up. As a player, Peter, you hear shouts, and they must have heard that Fenerbahce was winning. That filters down to the players. Now, the manager, De Boer at Ajax, what did he do? Put a striker on. He changed his team because a draw is no good. They had to get a win. Ronnie didn't put another striker on. I'm thinking, you know, he put Allen on, and to be fair, he didn't look out of place in the European stage. But I just thought maybe put another striker up with Griffiths. He's never changed it. Griffiths was out of sorts, making all the wrong decisions last night, and you know, he made a lot, not just shooting but passing, and didn't know when to pass, and he's come out, to be fair to the lad, he came out and said that. He came out, put his hands up, said it was my fault. Well, it's not your fault, Lee. It was the whole team's fault, you know, and as the manager says, he takes the blame as well. So, you know, you can't just blame one player, and it was good of Lee to come out and do that, but the whole team was shocking.
Yeah, in the days of social media, I think Lee Griffiths' tweet, "I can't be more apologetic than I am right now. My performance was simply shocking and ultimately cost us dearly." But as Macca says, you know, there are others to blame for it. The buck stops with the manager, Ruffy, and at the end of the day, John Collins has mentioned today that he hopes they get another crack at the Champions League. There is this difficult balancing act in many a Celtic fan's mind about the future of Ronnie Deila. On one hand, you've got a chance of a domestic treble, but the ambitions of Celtic used to be at Champions League level. It's way below that now.
Yeah, well, the first people you have to ask is, what are the ambitions of the board? You know, the owners of the club, what route do they want to go down?
Well, Dermot Desmond in the last couple of months has already gone on record as saying Celtic want to be in the Champions League, so this manager has failed.
Well, if that is the case, then that's what he should be judged on, not winning trebles or doubles. That's where they want to be, that's where the supporters want to be. The heady heights of the Barcelonas, Juventus, the Milans coming there are now long and gone. You know, I just can't see the present team getting back to where they are. It's okay saying, "Oh, let's go down the road of young players." Yeah, you want to see young players improving, but you're talking another 3 or 4 years before this present crop will get anywhere near Champions League.
That crop's not good enough. The players that played last night are not good. The boy Tierney was outstanding again. I thought he was outstanding. Why did they take him off? I will never know.
He picked up an injury, Frank.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, it was outstanding last night, and I thought, a young boy like that, you know, brilliant. I loved it. Absolutely, he had heart, determination.
But I don't think overall the team. You mentioned that it's not good enough.
It's not good enough.
The recruitment, I think, has been found wanting over a number of. Now, you know, does the manager sign them all? Who cares? Because modern clubs nowadays have boardrooms, have scouts, have a team. Some clubs in England have a committee who decide on the transfer policy. Now, at the end of the day, if the recruitment has not got a good strike rate, you have to have a look at that first and foremost. But secondary to that, the one glaring problem has been the back line, Ruffy. And that's down to the manager. They have not been able to shore it up over 18 months.
No, they haven't been good enough, particularly in European football. And it's been there in the SPFL. They've saw goals that they've lost. They just don't have the calibre of players that they used to have. And that used to be their strength. The goalkeeper was fantastic. The two centre-halves in front were super. And going forward, they were always going to create chances. But for me, it's all about the policy at the club. They brought in a manager with no experience whatsoever. So they brought him in with a vision of this guy's going to bring in young boys or young players, good Scottish players. He's going to groom them, and then we're going to be back to where we were.
They're not good enough.
It's a long vision for me. And if you want to go in and play with the big boys, you need to be up there with players to match them.
Do you think he's worthy of another crack at Europe?
For me, no, really. I don't think. It depends. As you said, depends what Peter Lawwell wants. You know, I don't think if he's going to stick with a squad, that squad is not good enough. Go right through the squad. Let's be blunt about it. The team is good enough to win the league. They could possibly win the treble. But when you come to Europe, not even it. I mean, we're talking about Celtic, the Champions League we're talking about. They're not good enough for the Europa League. You know, and Ronnie come out and get knocked out of the Champions League and says, we will win the Europa League. I mean, stop saying things like that. You know, just leave it out. They've not won a game. Never mind win the Europa League.
With the results in the Europa Cup, what he's done now is from now to the end of the season, he's put himself under almighty pressure. He has one really bad result away, like an Inverness Cali 3-0 defeat. Any kind of defeat that is going to look bad on paper is going to be his downfall, and that's a pressure that no manager would be playing under, and he's got a big run in because people will now start talking about the treble.
Yeah. Do you think, like Frank's answered the question, do you think he will be backed the way Peter Lawwell mentioned at the AGM last year?
Yeah, I think he will. Yeah. I think he will
for next year.
I think he'll be there at the end of the season. What happens to
I think he'll be there at the end of the season, Peter, but I don't know if he'll be given that chance. If he's going to stick with these players, Peter Lawwell's not daft. That team's not good enough.
Okay, we will talk more about the weekend's football as well, because the Hearts captain Blasi Augustine is fairly confident that the Tynecastle club can catch Celtic and win the Premiership title. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. You can interact with us and give us your view on Celtic's performance in Europe, the Rangers AGM, or anything else that's worrying you or annoying you in Scottish football and beyond. At Peter and Ruffy on Twitter, facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy, and of course peterandruffy.com to give us your view on some of the football issues we've been discussing from the Europa League. Now on to the domestic scene. Of course, Rangers are involved in the Petrofac Training Cup and a chance to get into the final against Peterhead. Do you see St Mirren stopping them, Ruffy?
Well, we didn't see the results in the Petrofac the last 2 years that Rangers were in. I think we all thought that Rangers are going to win them quite comfortably. I think they're better organised this year to win it. I think they'll go into the game with a lot of confidence, particularly with their support behind them. And the way St Mirren are playing just now, you couldn't really see any upset there.
Yeah, there's a number of lower leagues clubs involved in the Scottish Cup this weekend, so the Premiership really takes centre stage for us on STV at 2 o'clock. Frank McAvennie, Gordon Smith and Alan Ruff will be on the panel giving us their opinion on all the latest goals as they hit the back of the net right across all 4 divisions. But as far as the weekend's Premiership's concerned, one little press conference caught my eye. If Robbie Nielsen's warned the players about trying to keep a lid on the excitement of catching Celtic in the title, he certainly hadn't told his captain, because he reckons they can catch Celtic and win the Premiership.
Well, I don't know where he's getting that, where he thinks that. I think Celtic beat them comfortably in the both games that they played, so he's obviously playing to the supporters, and it's always good as a player, you know, to believe that you can do something. They're not that far behind, but for me they would have to start producing big results.
Yeah, but I mean, the Hearts fans definitely want to hear that kind of attitude, because I like that little bit of arrogance about it, Frank, but quite simply, you don't draw with Dundee.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that, and then come out and say things that's not possible. I don't think. I mean, look, they're 6 points behind, 5 points behind.
6 points.
6 points, and they've done well. But Robbie's Robbie. He's so laid back. He's no chance. He knows that they're not going to win the league, but he's going to hang in there and get second spot. That's him. That's a great thing that they can go for. Finishing second spot after coming up for the Championship last year. It's a great achievement by everyone at the club, not just Robbie Nielsen. Yeah,
and of course that's his style, Ruffy. He wants to keep a lid on it himself, but I am almost certain Robbie Nielsen is in there in that dressing room saying to the players, listen, you know, if there's a slip up, we've got to be at it.
Yeah. I mean, I think Alan Stubbs did the same last year. He kept on a low profile. He wasn't predicting this or predicting that. They went about their job, and I'm sure Hearts will do that. And they'll be looking at the result in Inverness at the weekend. I mean, they'll be looking to see if there's any kind of reaction, and if they were to win their game, you know. But I think we're all convinced in the long run, you know, that Celtic have got far too much in depth. But it'd be good if the 3 teams could keep going right until the end of the season and make it really exciting.
Yep, well, here's a look at the fixtures in the Premiership for the weekend. Of course, tonight it's St Johnstone against Dundee, then Aberdeen against Ross County, Dundee United Hamilton, Kilmarnock against Partick Thistle, Motherwell against Hearts, with Inverness Cally Thistle against Celtic on the Sunday. And of course, at Aberdeen it's 1903, I think, is some of the prices to get in. It's retro day up there for Aberdeen against Ross County. Listen, anything to get the fans back into the games has to be welcomed. Hearts don't have that problem, Ruffy, because quite simply they're falling over each other to try and get a ticket to get in there.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, I think the objective for Hearts should be getting as high up the league as possible, and getting into Europe would be absolutely fantastic for them, fantastic for the support that's hung on in there, and the next year if they were to get into Europe, it'd be great seeing them going abroad, and maybe they might be the team that could get us back on that coefficient.
Yeah, well, the coefficient, I'm glad you mentioned that. It is absolutely abysmal, especially when you consider all of the clubs now and the performances in Europe. Just incidentally, let's have a look at the Premiership table, because at the bottom end of it, there are 6 points adrift at the moment, Dundee United, but they have made another signing. Former Liverpool and Atletico Madrid forward Florence Cinema Pongol has agreed a contract until the end of the season. So Dundee United clearly know the alarm bells are ringing, Maka, and they are going to try and get as many players in, and experienced ones too.
Well, that's experienced player. They brought the boy Demel in, and they've got this other boy. So that's 2 experienced players that Mitsu has pulled in from nowhere because he didn't see it coming.
And Gavin Gunning.
And if these boys
he's trying to get the goalkeeper in.
Yep.
So that would be a good.
That'd be a good sign. That's 4 players, yeah. But listen, as he says, they need it as quick as possible. So, you know, I just don't think Dundee United. I think they'll be challenging Motherwell for that spot to go down. I just don't see them getting out. I don't see Motherwell getting out or Dundee United. Depends. Guy Demel, good player down at West Ham. That's all I can say. He can play right back. He can play midfield. I suppose he could play centre half as well up here. But biggest problem for me, people say fitness. It's not really fitness. Mitchell will get him fit. But as long as he's not got injuries, that can. I think he's a good player for them.
Who do you think's going down? We've already picked ours.
I fancy Motherwell. I did fancy Motherwell. I said at the beginning Motherwell, but you know I'm struggling with Dundee United at the moment. Because if they get attached, if they don't start winning games soon, they could become attached. And that, you know, 9-10 points at the bottom adrift, that'll be too much for them to make up.
Yeah, and with that in mind, it looks as if there's a change of ethos at Dundee United then. If they're backing Mixu to bring in the experienced players, that certainly wasn't what Jackie McNamara was working on.
No, it certainly wasn't, but that just shows you when you're under pressure, you know, sometimes you have to change tack. And I think when Mixer went in there and saw a couple of games, he thought there was a lack of experience, and I think he wants to try and dig out results and get into winning ways. And I've already predicted I think it will start on Saturday.
You think Dundee United will win on Saturday?
Yep.
Okay.
Is he going to put that in your coupon?
Yes.
Don't worry, Ruffy. We're not going to shout at you just because you think Dundee United are going to win a game. It's all about opinions. And with that in mind, with the opinions, St Johnstone against Dundee, Ruffy, how do you see that one going tonight?
I think it'll be tight. I think Dundee seem to have the knack of grinding out draws. I can't see them winning the game, so I'm going to go for St Johnstone.
Yep, St Johnstone to win.
Yes.
Same.
Yep. Okay. We're all agreed on that one. What about in the other matches? Motherwell against Hearts.
I just, you know, there's a gulf of difference, and Matt McGee's still trying to get. He probably doesn't know his best team there, so I'm going to go for Hearts.
When that third goal went in last week at Ross County, there was a few Motherwell heads went in, and it looked as if it was the same scenario was happening last year. Mark McGee will have an absolute battle to get their heads lifted up. They certainly have players that can do it. I think it'll be a draw.
You're going to go for a draw, so Hearts to slip up again.
Yes.
Okay, Ruffy, don't forget, if you want to disagree with Ruffy, let him know. That's Peter and Ruffy on Twitter and also facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy. Aberdeen, Ross County, if one team's going to slip up in this race to try and catch Celtic, are Aberdeen going to do it?
No, I think they're going through a bad spell just now. I think it was obvious last week at Hamilton, the chances to win the game, but couldn't see it out. And I don't think they're the same team as what they were the first eight games of the season. Not scoring enough goals for me, but I'll still go for them to win at home.
Okay. You basically wasted 30 seconds of the programme there, Ruffy, with that waffle. Mark, give us it bluntly in 10.
I'm going for Ross County to beat them.
Ross County to beat Aberdeen?
Yeah.
Okay. That certainly would make it an interesting and enjoyable weekend if you indeed pick Celtic to win at Inverness.
No, I think it'll be a draw. I think we'll get a draw. I don't think they'll get beat, but after the other night, the heads will be down, and that's an awful place to go. Especially the wind howling, the rain. That'll be terrible to go up there.
Oh, Mac is even predicting the weather, Ruffy.
There
That's
you
fantastic.
Yep, I think Celtic have got Inverness at the right time, and I think they will win that one, maybe 1 or 2-0.
Yeah, you haven't picked Hamilton for a right good few weeks.
I know.
Ruffy. Are you going for them against Dundee United?
No, I'm not.
No.
Dundee United are my banker for the weekend.
All right.
I'll go for the draw.
Okay, and last but by no means least, Kilmarnock against Partick Thistle.
So Alan Archibald complaining about the AstroTurf again. That's a tight one to call. I'm going to go a draw.
Kilmarnock.
Yeah, okay. You think he was fairly decisive, Ruffy. Let's have a look at the match predictor, which is totally the opposite of what he's actually said on the programme. There you have it. You're well ahead, Ruffy. I mean, you can't lose from this position here. I think I'm looking right now at the way things are panning out.
It could be a dramatic. There could be.
2 years have went from Motherwell Hearts to draw.
Oh, this could be a big weekend.
This could be a big
could be a
Ruffy.
massive weekend.
Yeah,
Yes,
and I've also gone for Inverness.
Oh, Inverness one each.
To get a 1-1. There you are. Controversial. But the good thing about it is there's no breaking point whatsoever for chairman or chief executives when it comes to results. They stand by their managers. It's all about opinions on the programme. Join us Saturday, 2 o'clock. Macca, Gordon Smith, Alan Ruff will be arguing with each other, fighting. We'll be interacting as well. You can join in with us 2 o'clock. STV Edinburgh, STV Glasgow. Thanks for watching. Good night.